Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be talking about my eating disorder recovery story. I've never vocally shared my story. I did have my story up on my blog, but I took it down and I'm going to replace it with this so you guys can watch it and hear me talking about it just the way I'd be talking about it as I would my best friend. So let's dive in. When I was 13, our family moved from Tennessee to Michigan. This was in 7th grade. My dad's job got transferred and we had no other option but to move. I had to leave my best friends, my school, and pretty much my entire childhood behind and start fresh. At the time, I was actually a little excited for the change. I always saw in movies how kids who moved got a lot of attention, they got a fresh start, they got to meet all these new people. I figured there's going to be new friends, new boys, new experiences. I can truly start over. So I started 8th grade at a new school that fall because we moved in the summer. And honestly, I felt like an alien in a new world. I didn't know who to sit with at lunch, what group to get involved with, what group not to get involved with. Because middle school is a pretty weird time, and I feel like as soon as you enter a group, you're like associated with that group for your high school career. Instead of letting my personality shine through, I remained quiet, even quieter than I was at my old school. I talked to other new kids, and that's kind of what we were known as. Months went by and I still was not connecting with anybody. I wasn't involved in sports, I didn't join extracurricular activities because I didn't do those things before. And I guess maybe I wasn't sure what I was good at. I felt invisible. So it occurred to me that maybe I just wasn't pretty enough or thin enough, and I wanted to stand out. I thought I was just pretty average and I wanted to change it. This is around the time I started researching ways to lose weight. Growing up, I didn't have the best body image. I was an early developer, so I got my first period when I was 10 years old, and I just remember feeling so much bigger than the other girls. And this is pretty hard when you are young and all your friends still are pretty small and you're changing. I became the girl that never looked at nutrition labels and pretty much ate whatever she wanted to the girl that was counting calories every single day. It started as something so innocent. I literally just thought maybe I could just lose a couple pounds and I would feel better about myself. I actually just started eating less throughout the day because I knew my parents expected me to eat a normal dinner. I started just really eating plain foods, like just plain oatmeal because I thought sugar was bad, and I just started eating like fruits and vegetables with like no dips or sides, and really just started eating pretty much nothing. I wasn't the most active kid growing up besides just swimming in my pool, going for bike rides, and I think this problem got worse as my brother and my dad joined the gym. I remember my dad wanted me to lift weights with him and I couldn't take my eyes off the treadmill or the pool where I could go swim laps. So that's what I did. I didn't care about getting stronger. I didn't know what weightlifting could do to my body. I just wanted to lose weight. I wanted to be smaller, not bigger. My family decided to go try this new chicken place after the gym, and I remember this was probably the first time I just sat there and didn't eat. And I figured, why work out if I'm just gonna eat all those calories back? And I just told them that I was just gonna eat when I got back home, and I remember not doing it. I started to lose weight pretty fast. I stopped eating the lunches my mom would pack for me to take to school. I just snacked on like jelly beans and gum throughout the day. Because at the time, it wasn't about eating whole foods, it was just eating as little as possible. And I really didn't want people to question why I wasn't eating, so that's why I would just bring things to snack on and say I wasn't hungry. In January, my parents started showing concerns. I wasn't acting like myself anymore. This was the first winter I started to deal with seasonal depression. I didn't like my new school. I didn't feel like I was accepted. I didn't like the cold, and it was getting especially worse since I was so much thinner. And the sad thing is, I didn't really notice myself losing weight. My mom then decided to take me to see a pediatrician where I was told I was anorexic. I was speechless that anybody in their right mind would call me that, because eating disorders were something that you just saw on TV or happened to celebrities, but not me. In complete denial, I told my mom that there was nothing to be worried about. However, she was told that she had to take me to see a dietitian, so I guess I agreed to that. I had no other choice. And just so this story isn't like an hour long, I'm just gonna speed up some of the intense details. Seeing the dietitian did not help me. This dietitian, I don't feel like, was very understanding about eating disorders, because every visit that I went to go see her, I would have to weigh myself in front of her and my mother, and I was just told what to eat. I wasn't told why. I wasn't told why eating disorders were bad. I wasn't told the negative consequences that having an eating disorder would have. I was not educated, and the control that my eating disorder gave me over food and my body was all taken away, and that made me want to rebel more. I didn't want my parents telling me what to do. I didn't want to see the weight go up. So this triggered me actually to just keep doing what I was doing. I still remember the night that my parents came up to my room to tell me that I had to go away to an inpatient facility, and I don't think I've ever cried harder in my life or had the biggest anxiety attack. I was young and did not want to be separated from my parents. I didn't want to be sent away to some place that was just going to make me gain weight. I didn't want it. So I spent about 2 months there, and I didn't know what people at school were going to say when I came back. I didn't want the comments that I gained weight or that I changed. I just didn't want to be noticed. And at the time, I wasn't ready for recovery, so of course I just relapsed. I relapsed in the fall and got sent to a different eating disorder inpatient facility. And this was about in the time of high school. This was honestly the most horrible recovery experience I've ever had. This place that I was sent to had us count calories to gain weight. We actually planned our meals for the day, but they made us eat frozen meals, packaged snacks like Little Debbie's, Pop-Tarts, bagels, ice cream, Snickers bars, you name it. We ate this stuff every single day. There wasn't no fresh fruits or vegetables. It was all frozen. We had very limited options, and the fact that it was so calorie focused did not help me mentally, because recovering from an eating disorder is not just about gaining weight, it's about actually recovering mentally. So I had this idea in my head that I had to continue counting calories when I left. There was no outpatient team to keep me in line with recovery. It was all on my own. So of course, months go by and I relapse again, because I knew how many calories it would take for me to lose weight. I was so uncomfortable with my body. I gained so much weight so fast at that place, and it really did not put me in a positive body image mindset. Going back to school was pretty difficult for me. I remember this kid that was so naive. He made a comment about my weight gain, and that was the biggest trigger for me. I remember coming home crying after he told me, "It looks like you have some meat on your bones." And then he squeezed my arm. I just remember the thoughts going through my head of translating what he said into "you got fat." Months go by and I relapsed again. And when I relapsed, I would lose a lot of weight really fast because I couldn't control it. The third place I went to get help was better, but it didn't stop me from relapsing again. This is my story, and this is the reality of having an eating disorder. Some people can recover the first time that they get help. However, that didn't happen for me. It is now the end of junior year of high school, and I will never forget what my mom came to tell me. It was the end of summer break, and she told me, "We cannot continue taking you places if you don't want to actually recover. You have to want this for yourself. You have to be the one to change." And her saying that stuck with me. I dedicated that entire summer to gaining weight before school started. I wanted senior year to be better. I didn't want it to be trapped in my eating disorder. I didn't want to be remembered as the girl who had an eating disorder. I wanted to go to prom, and I wanted to make friends. And this was around the time I started my recovery account on Instagram. This community that I made on Instagram helped me so much in my recovery. Because I was doing recovery all on my own, at home with my parents, not being supervised. This account gave me a purpose. I started documenting what I was eating in a day, and I know that could be toxic for some people, but for me, it gave me the accountability that I needed to gain weight. And over time, I started inspiring people, and that just kept me going. And over time, I did start to inspire myself. This account grew pretty rapidly until I no longer needed it. I got to a place where I was tired of documenting every single thing I was eating, and it was just time to let go. So I deleted that account. I started college and things were going pretty well for me. I enjoyed this newfound freedom that I had of not having my parents look down my neck every single day and just being able to have the freedom to do what I want. I maintained this quasi-recovery for a little bit. I actually don't think it was until my sophomore year of high school that I had like a mini relapse. I wouldn't call this like a full relapse in my recovery, but I became extremely orthorexic, and I still had a lot of disordered eating tendencies. I started going to the gym every single day, doing weightlifting, HIIT workouts, cardio. I had a fitness tracker at the time, and I would track my steps and go above and beyond for myself every single day. Around this time, I also transitioned into a vegan diet, which we can save for another video. I started losing weight again. I thought I looked super healthy. I thought that I could finally see my abs and seeing so much muscle definition. However, it was like bones. I was skin and bones. My heart rate was so low. It was like 40 beats per minute. I was cold all the time. I started losing my hair. I had like this, what they call lanugo, and it's like this fine hair that's all over your body. I lost my period. I developed severe digestion issues, and my mind was trapped. I was thinking about food all day, every day, plugging in foods into my fitness pal, trying to make the perfect diet plan for myself. I started just to feel empty. I had a boyfriend at the time. My libido was so low that I didn't feel like being with him. I actually ended up breaking things off with him when I started to actually dedicate myself into recovery because I didn't feel attractive. I had this thing where if I'm actually going to go all in my recovery, I don't want him to see me gain weight. I don't want to be with somebody while I'm dedicating myself to recovery. And looking back at it now, I wish I hadn't done that because I started to push people away. I pushed people away in my eating disorder, and I still push people away while I was recovering because I didn't feel like people understood me, and I felt this shame about gaining weight because gaining weight and eating that much food in a day is so uncomfortable. I guess the thing that kept me going was getting a DEXA scan to see the health of my bones. I remember being diagnosed with osteoporosis, and that was the unfortunate reminder that I needed to keep going. I envisioned myself being in a wheelchair by the age of 30 or breaking my spine deadlifting because I was so stuck with my exercise addiction. I wanted so badly to reverse the damage that I've done to myself for years. So my junior and senior years of college, I dedicated myself to recovery. I stopped caring what people thought of me, and I started to let go of the high expectations I had for myself. Recovering was one of the hardest things I've ever had to do in my life. Going all in with food, stopping the workouts, and watching myself gain weight for 6 months was not easy. But it did start to get easier. Once I let go of the high expectations I set for myself and shifted my mindset from food to actually healing my mindset is when my life started to change. I no longer cared about having the leanest body. I stopped caring about eating the most cleanest foods or having the perfect diet. I started focusing on the things that I should have started when I first started recovering, and that was my mindset. My eating disorder made me a completely different person. I don't even know who that was. I lost like all my loving and nurturing womanhood. I was hostile and only did things for myself, but I noticed myself starting to become more loving and more nurturing as I started to gain the weight back. I started to want to do things more for others. For the longest time, I didn't even want to like take my dog on walks, or I just felt like annoyed by every single thing. But as I started to recover, I wanted to do those things again. Your brain chemistry changes so much when you're starving. Food becomes the only thing you care about. Eating disorders are so dangerous and deadly. They make you think that you're okay when you're not. They make you believe that you're safe and you're healthy, but they take away your personality. They don't let you be yourself. Eating disorders don't let you enjoy birthday parties or social gatherings or dates. It takes all that away just so you can shrink yourself. I missed out on so much growing up, but I also learned so many valuable things about the human body and myself in my journey. I learned that I will do whatever it takes to help others achieve a real, true balance with food. I don't want people to make the same mistakes I did and spend their life wasting it. I learned that happiness is not about achieving the weight that you think that you'll be happy. Happiness is found when you develop true love and respect for yourself. I learned that the body will do incredible things to keep you alive under extreme conditions. And I learned that it's okay to ask for help. People really do care. I learned that full recovery from an eating disorder does not have to take 7 years. You can recover so much faster than I did. If you are struggling with an eating disorder or know somebody who's struggling with an eating disorder, get help today. You may not feel ready or don't want to, but you need to do it in order to have a bright future. I am now the heaviest I've ever been in my entire life, and I've accepted that. I've accepted that I no longer need to be the smallest one in the room, and that a little thigh jiggle and a little belly fat is not going to hurt you. Health does not have to be being the skinniest version of yourself. I enjoy going out with my friends so much now. I enjoy family dinners and going on dates and not caring about the food. My life is so much more full because I am truly healthy, and I will take that any day over being a size 0. To all the girls that don't feel heard, to all the girls that don't feel pretty enough or thin enough in order to meet society's beauty standards, to the ones who struggle with self-confidence, self-image, and try their hardest to fit in, you are good enough. You are loved. You do not need to change for anyone, for any reason. Because true beauty does not come from the size of the jeans that you wear or the number on the scale. Beauty comes in all shapes, sizes, colors, and genders. Beauty is who you are to others as it reflects in your personality. You are already beautiful. You just need to find the ones that appreciate the radiant person that you already are. You are not your diagnosis, and you can change your story at any moment in time. You are stronger than your struggles.